Anything. So,
¿Y por qué no en español?
si quieres en español.
Quiero, pero no puedo.
So, the first question is, how do you reach the use of the copy machine? How do you get in contact with the copy machine?
It was a long time ago. It was a man called Christian Rigal that used to collect copy art from different painters. At this period, it was quite rare, I think, that artists would work with copies. And so he proposed to a few painters that he knew or he saw to work especially on machines that qu'il a mis à notre disposition, that he offered.
Yeah?
And so we were a few painters to accept and to try to investigate.
And in that case, you did an exhibition of your work?
And I think at this period he did a few exhibitions sponsored by copying
Xerox,
machines.
yeah.
Yes, and I think he made a book maybe, or I don't know if it was maybe a copy.
Yeah, copy, yeah.
Copybook of the. But well, it was like a whole project around this, which was quite new on the market, and found it funny and interesting. And so only many years afterwards, I reintroduced the idea of working with copy, as I explained to you, in my work.
Why do you become involved with the machine? I mean, why do you feel attracted to work with the machine?
First of all, I found it, to be honest, a bit superficial, because I was used to the traditional way of painting with oil, and which is complicated, profound, takes time, it takes a lot of feeling and so on. So here you just make like an arrangement, arrangement, you press on the button and you have the result. So for me it was let's say easy or superficial or funny, like a game. But I understood that very rapidly you have different results, essentially in composing the images, because the material for me was very poor. Right, it's
paper, normal
paper with inks in powder on it. It's when you're used to
work with oil, with painting.
Yes,
yeah.
the traditional
Can
paintings.
I close the door?
Yes. There's a little piece of wood. No, at the corner. Yeah, take it away.
So you feel attracted by the instantaneously of the machine?
No, first of all, to be honest, he convinced me to try to do it. For me, it was like a game. Well, why not? You know,
yeah.
in painting, all the investigations are interesting or good, because you never know what you'll find at the end of the way. So I accepted. But anyway, it was a few hours, so it's not a big time involved. So I played a bit with this, and I think he exhibited the things. He was very involved in the idea that copy art is essential to the nowadays art of those days. That's it. For me, it was one of the numerous experiences that I did, but I don't denigrate it. I learned a few things, and as I told you, many years afterwards, I decided to try to reinvestigate in a certain way.
So this was the little contact that you have with these artists of the copy art movement?
I cannot say so. At this time, I think he took, let's say, I don't know, 15 painters that had a lot of exhibitions and things like this. So we knew each other more as painters, or
Yeah.
some are friends, some people that you met once, some. But it was more like this, and we all participated in making copy. Maybe I don't have clear memories of this period, to be honest, but maybe at this time there were already some artists exclusively involved in copy art. This I don't know.
What was your art background? Your
Art?
past in the art before the machine. I mean, you came.
I used to work oil on canvas, inks on papers, paper pasts with different papers or materials, or significant fragments involved, put inside the paper. And so what I did mainly, if my memories are good, with this experience of copy art, was to, as I show you in the book, I used to take works that I did with inks, with papers and so on, to complete it in a way with other materials, other fragments, so to complexify it, and so I could draw right away the copy of it, which led to another state, let's say, of the work, and then this I could again push it in another state, complexifying, or I had some works, I think, when I tore the things and placed it in another way. It was a way of taking distance from my own work. I could play with them, or use them as insignificant objects. When you do it, it's a lot of work. It's very serious. It's you wouldn't begin to cut them, or so I think it helped me to take some distance with with my work.
Did you try other machines? I mean, for example, in that time, video or computer? No.
No. As an art, no.
No.
I was very attached to painting, to drawing, to the texture of paper, to the materials you can use in a canvas, and I had the feeling all of this was too flat for me, no matière, excuse me to say this, but it's the same distance between real love with somebody you love and love on internet with a screen, video screen. It's not the same dimension.
Yeah. Did you have a final image before working?
No, it was you're speaking of copy art.
Yeah.
No, it was pure experimentation. And big part of game.
A game.
Yeah. I was playing with the things.
So your work is a kind of research creation. I mean, do you know how to work with the machine before start?
No, but it was very simple.
Push the button.
And if ever you don't know on what button, there's a man on your side that does it for you.
So you have some kind of help from a technician
Well, there was a
sometimes?
stand. I think there was something like a fair with those machines too, and that Christian Rigal put on place.
But
And
we
we
are,
showed to the people how artists can use this and make transformations. And, so this,
but we are talking about France.
this was in Paris, yes.
Yeah.
But I think he had the project, or maybe he did it to have different exhibitions in different places.
So you told me that you weren't involved in the meeting and exhibition of copy artists. You weren't.
No. I was one of the artists.
Of the copy art.
Yes, of these events that this man created, so he asked
Christian
me
Rigal.
to participate, which I did. But I never went to any other event, and I don't know if there were many at this time, of copy art.
So the machine for you was a kind of tool in this case for your work?
Yes, it resembles a lot, I think, on what is now a computer. You put an image in it, and you have a Photoshop, you have many ways of transforming. So you can play with the image. It's then I was much younger and more preoccupied by the meaning of the first image itself. Well, what is a painting? What can you put in it? What is a drawing? How far can you go in all those medias and so on? I was not so involved in the idea of playing with this or making a show with
Machine.
any I don't know, my children with Photoshop can make in 5 minutes extraordinary things. You can really make an exhibition of it. It's with a few minimalist concepts.
Yeah.
You have spectacular things. Ask a painter in the Italian Renaissance how many years of work it was needing to make a little drawing that he could exhibit.
Yeah.
So I like this type of modesty, of precaution, of deepness in the things more than the idea of game.
So how important is for you the instinct of play in the creation?
Yeah, it's maybe I was a bit too radical in what I told you, because there was a little bit more than playing, because I learned things while learning to take distance with my own images, to allow me only to play with my own images, to not to take them so seriously. Then you build inside of you some new matters or some new ways of investigating. It was not the only thing, copy art, but this was an easy way of taking one image, taking it out of the original, and then play. You can do whatever you want. You can make think of paper like this. You can tore it. You can eat it. You can throw it by the window. You can begin to play, and I don't. Playing with art is not innocent. It's a way of creating. The problem is that nowadays there's a 99% of game and 1% of involvement.
Yeah, I think so too. So why do you think that copy art or the creation with a photocopy machine has not been considered in the history of art?
Sorry?
Why do you think that works made with photocopy machine, I mean copy art in general, has not been considered in the story of art?
Because it's not it's not such a specific language by itself. The idea of copying something, if you want to make the history of it, it begins with the engravings, the lithographs, then the serigraphies, then the photographs, then
also the tools for drawing are like a kind of this.
Yes. So, once I don't know, and if you in my way, which was to take an original and to transform it, if I would, without any copy machine, if I take a photo of it, I draw the photo, I have a paper with a second original, so I can do the same. You see, it was very useful in the offices because, like a fax, because it's a reproduction, it's a way of transmitting the thing. But as a media by itself, the media is quite poor in itself. Let's say it's a normal sheet of paper in the millions of sheets of paper that exist, and not so interesting. So to the basic thing. Then the color by itself, was this powder. The technology was interesting. The fact of reproducing with the different, you know it more than I do, but the different way of injecting inks or powder. So technologically it was interesting, but for an artist, the result was one of the numerous ways of taking an image and reproducing it. I was not impressed by the machines themselves, which were huge at this period. So, as a joke, for me, as a joke, it was alright. As a new god of expression, or I don't know what, I found it very small, very limited.
Where did you find the first machine in which you create? I mean, in an office, copy shop, where did you create in that period?
For copy art?
Yeah.
It was no, I used photocopies like everybody. I had a letter, I wanted to send it and to...
Yeah, but where? Because...
No,
normal office, copy shops?
Yes, like everybody, there was a lot of little
shops
but I never considered this at this time as a way of creating like a new tool, a new pencil. Or, the first event when I was confronted with the idea of trying to integrate it as a plastical research was around this events. It was not like a personal propulsion. I didn't invent anything with the relation of a machine. I used it as a tool in my own process. But I would I had I a little pen, I don't know, I would have tried to do the same.
Have you always had discourse in your works? A discourse, a topic, a subject in your works always?
No, I love too much painting to try to need to enunciate.
To see something, to say something.
A meaning. Painting is painting. You know, red is red. Red is not blood. Red is not.
So you are interested in the material, in the materiality.
Oui. Then a material is a material is a. There's no the subject of painting is painting. Now with you say I make a portrait, you can make a Rembrandt, and you can make the worst portrait of Mickey Mouse. You can never imagine. It's both announcing with the normal vocabulary. It's called a portrait, but painting is not on this register.
Yeah. So, to finish, nowadays you are sometimes working also with a machine like a tool in your work.
Yes, yes,
also.
yes.
Yeah, to help you to.
Yes, as I showed you, I find a little photograph that I like, so I go to a shop next door and I have it agrandi, then reproduce, then lighter or more black, or I can degrade it. Then I go on working on it as a first material, putting other materials, as I showed you, like sugar, golden and silver powders, China ink, acrylic paintings. Then it's a step on another way of transforming an image, and like it's true for all medias, what you can say through one media is unique. You cannot say it with another media. So at the end, it really has its own place in what I'm interested in, because the way I can speak with this is very different from from the way I could have spoken with another sheet of paper, another type of reproduction, another type of paint.
Okay, thank you very much.
I thank you very much.